Okay, so the steam tubes are on. They're all painted up, look good in there. The front cover is finally on all the way, not just 2 bolts holding it. We got the valve train all buttoned up now. There's a few spots here where we scarred up the paint a little bit, so I'm gonna go around now and just make sure that's all nice, and then I can put the coil packs on, and we'll keep going there. Coming together. Okay, so there's the water pump all painted up. This is the bracket that holds the power steering pump and alternator all on this side. We're going to be painting this up as well. I kind of just cleaned it as best as I could with a kind of a wire wheel and different ends to try and get in all those spots, but we'll just, I think I got it kind of as good as I can, and we'll throw a little paint on it, and then I think we're going to go with black pulleys on the front there too, and so the orange and black combo should look nice.
Okay, so there's with the pump in. Now we do have not too bad a clearance here, other than the fact that these lines here are coming awfully close to each other, but everything is clearing underneath and at the back. We were hoping that the LS power steering line would work, but as you can see there, it's got actually a bigger fitting on it, so that means we'll have to either build one from kind of the old one or something like that. Now, what I'm wondering about is if we shorten this guy here, put a hose on from there, and then that would give us room to run this line that's back behind here over. But we'll have to see. Obviously we don't want that line blowing off, so we'll have to do a little bit of figuring there and get it to fit. But yeah, no, it seems to fit in there pretty good. Like we're not hitting anything, and so that's a good sign. So okay, so getting a little better look at it here. I actually had that in the wrong hole, so we actually are able to use that factory one. We might have to kind of fit it in there and see what's the best orientation with the inner liner once it's in. But that's in there, and then this one here is our return, and it basically just runs down, and then we just got a short little hose on there. So we tweaked this line off the pump just a little bit to get that to clear, but that actually fits pretty nice. So that's kind of a little bit of a win there, so that's sweet. And then now with the wiring, there's actually a factory hole right here, which is where I think we're gonna try and run it. We'll obviously have to do a bigger hole there to fit the full loom in. And then with that, we should be able to run the PCM. Right, you can see we got it tucked, maybe not. We got it tucked right here, basically, so that we can see all our LED lights here and kind of monitor it that way. But that actually fits really good. We thought about doing the glove box, but it's just not the way it teeters and stuff. It's not the right way. So that I think will work good, and then we can still kind of access it in a pretty decent way. So should work good.
Okay, so a little update here. We got the alternator on. Just kind of did a quick spray paint on it, make it look a little bit better. Everything was quite oxidized, so we're just trying to keep everything clean and neat. I had to pull the intake back off. When I put the intake on, I forgot that we had to put the knock sensors on, and so once I did that, we put the intake back on, and then got started on the wiring here. Now what we're finding is obviously we're having to mix the old wiring with some of the new. Here's where we came into the firewall here. So that's a little bit of a challenge. I do have the starter hooked up now, and all the wiring ran down there, and then just basically piecing together any of these loose wires that we had from the old engine. So that's going to be kind of the next little bit, and then we're getting awfully close to being able to fire up this thing. Okay, here's our fire up here. Here, yeah. Yeah. Okay, so we're getting ready to put the front clip on. One thing I wanted to show here is the throttle cable that we used. This is the one out of the Tahoe that we pulled the engine out of. It does actually work in this truck pretty well. Now, what we did have to do is on the pedal side, it was actually a little bit longer. Of course, I'm gonna have a flashlight here. So what we had to do, it might be kind of difficult to see, this eyelet here is obviously from the old pedal here, and it actually, this plastic end
fit really nice in there. Now what I had to do is right about here on the arm, I had to bend it forward, and then that way it took up the slack of the cable, and so we got it pretty close, which is nice, that we could still use the stock one and not have to source a different one or something goofy like that. And then we just put a little bit of just one washer on each of these just to space this up, just to get it basically so it'll touch that furthest point, and we're maxed out there for that. So the guys over here are just getting the front clip washed up, and then we're gonna throw it on, and we can keep going from there then.
You want to blow them out, obviously.
Gonna look good. Okay, what'd you just figure?
Oh, so we just tried the upper rad hose, and it is nearly golden. So this is off the 01 Tahoe. So we chucked that in there, and it's really close. We might just have to trim it here, but we'll make that fit. And then the rad shroud actually fits with the factory clutch fan off the
LS.
D01 LS as well. So
Man, that's awesome. I can't believe that fits that good. It's like it was made for this. This 80 Chev wanted this LS in here. That's awesome. Man, that looks good now. Okay, so we're getting the rad hoses figured out here. This is the upper rad hose. So what we're seeing here is, I'll try and get this hose on and then I'll straighten out the camera. So right there we got the upper rad hose on, and so I basically cut basically 3 inches off of the bottom edge of this one, and we're basically where we need to be. So now I just washed the fan shroud, and then I made some marks here. So what I'm going to do is trim these out on all 3 of those ribs, and then that way the rad hose can sit down nice and kind of flush in there, and then we can actually fasten it through the stock placement of it. So it actually fits pretty nice in the truck. Okay, so that's with it shaved off. And we got the hole drilled for the pressure fit there. Now, oh yeah, I was gonna show you, we have, what I was using was just a burr tool, and this is actually an aluminum burr tool because it's a little bit more aggressive to cut the plastic out of there. So that looks like that should fit, and we'll get a video of it going into the truck now. Okay, so this is the lower rad hose, and again, it's like this thing was made for it. I had to cut maybe an inch or 2 off, and it fits in there absolutely perfectly, so that's awesome. Yeah, it's really coming together, this thing, nicely here, so that's good. All right, so we got the handheld mounted. Now the customer wanted it right in the dash, kind of just off to the side here, and it actually, in behind here, there's actually a perfect size hole in the actual metal of the dash, so that actually turned out to work really good. We were either going to do it there, or we talked about doing it in this kind of cubby hole here, but yeah, just worked a little bit better down here. So that's mounted. I just got to run the wiring over to that side. Now, as far as the PCM goes, where we've decided to mount it, all right, so we were planning to mount it just underneath here. But as you can see, the vent door opens up to the inside there. So that isn't gonna work. We're gonna set it basically right up in here. So we kind of decided, well, that's not really gonna work. So actually what we ended up doing is, I don't know, we put the glove box back on, but as you can see, maybe you can see, we'll have the PCM basically mount right there and straight to the firewall. And in that way, if we ever need to, if there's ever a problem, we can actually look and all those LEDs are shining to the front here, and that'll tell us each one is assigned to a different sensor or input. And if we have an issue there, it'll shine, the LED will shine red. If we're good to go, it'll be green. So we're waiting on a little bit of metal so we can make a bracket that'll work in there. And then that'll be mounted. And then it's basically, we're looking at doing the rest of the exhaust. And yeah, like we're getting awfully close here. Drive shafts, a couple things like that. So it's coming together. We're just about there. As you can see here, we have all of the piping to build our custom dual exhaust. So yesterday was a little bit of a hectic day, but Jesse did get started on it. It's a little dark under here, hopefully we can see. We didn't want to weld everything solid because that way if you ever had to change anything, you'd have to cut it all off, which kind of sucks. So he basically adapted this to the headers. The headers obviously had a 3-inch outlet here, and then now we have a flange here so we can actually take stuff apart. So I will be building. We did get a little bit of videos of that, but it's kind of hard to, we didn't really have the camera in the right spot. So I'll be trying to build this here today, or try and get some of it hammered out, and we'll try and get a little better video of us getting it figured. As you can see, we still haven't quite found a drive shaft yet. We kind of are just either trying to find one out of a wrecker, or I guess last case scenario we'll have one get built, I guess. But we'd like to be able to just find one, as it's basically mounts the exact same place. So we like to just be able to throw one in it, maybe put a couple of U-joints in and throw it in would be nice, rather than having one built, but we'll have to see. So anyway, we'll get some videos here of us building this exhaust, and hopefully it turns out nicely. So.
got her idling now. We got that intake welded up. We had another guy with a TIG weld that up for us. It's still in its learning process, but we got our dual exhaust in too. You can hear that cam a little bit. We got the hood, we can get on it now. We had a little bit of a problem with it it was too rich. We had just a bunch of issues here, but it's working good now. Okay, kind of an exciting day. We got the truck all basically buttoned up, and we're gonna be delivering it to the customer. So we got it out here running, and we're just gonna do our kind of our longer drive with it. So there's spin her around. There she is. We got the hood on it. It basically had no paint on it, so we kind of just fogged it black for now. But it seems to be running really good. We had a big fight with the cooling system. It just wanted to keep air pockets in there, so it was wanting to get too hot, but we ended up getting that figured out, and a couple tuning things, and we got her running pretty good. Kind of hear a little bit of that cam lope, which is good. And actually it's nice at idle, it's not real loud, but it does in the RPMs it does get a little louder, so it should be a cool little truck for them. Actually, it turns out it's their anniversary today too, so we're getting it back to them for their anniversary, which is really cool. So anyway, this is we'll get probably a couple more shots of it driving down the road and whatnot, but this is basically going to be the end of this series, and we'll be doing some more projects. We haven't really been putting out a ton of videos lately, but we're trying to get better at filming stuff and whatnot. But anyway, it's kind of nice to get one of these ones done here. So